Hello YouTube, Nathan Dewey here, giving my thoughts on the Microtech Tachyon 2 Bali Song. This is not my knife. I pre-ordered this on behalf of a Jersey Devil member in Canada. I will likely ship this out tomorrow in kit form, but before I do, thought I'd give my thoughts on it. First, let's talk about the fit and finish. The fit and finish is very good in terms of a production Bali Song. The machining is very clean. There's no gaps to speak of. Everything is symmetrical as far as I can tell, as far as the naked eye can pick up. The only rough spot that I've found is on the spine. You still see a little bit of rawness on the spine and a little bit on the interior blade holes. The latch. This uses a T-latch that I think is, I'm not sure if this is titanium or steel, but it does look to be machined. It's rounded, it has this mushroom-styled top on it, and it's held in with a rolled pin that's hollow in the center. And what that does is that it actually provides friction so that the latch doesn't just shake around. I think that was done on behalf of the flippers. Typically, you don't want a latch to flop around. You either the current standard in flipping, you either want it to be domed so that it will just skip out in between the handles, or you want it to stay put. What this will do, it will prevent this from happening, which was a big criticism of not just the Tachyon, the original Tachyon, but other Bali songs like the Kimara. The latch would get stuck in between the handles and it would mess up the rhythm of various moves like an aerial or a Van Gogh or just insert move here. So that was taken into consideration. I think it was a very good idea. Latch locked securely, both open and closed. The one thing I will mention is that not only are the handles adequately spaced, you get a lot of tension, but also because of the friction, this is a more difficult knife to actuate. Along with the latch, it doesn't give you a lot of purchase, so you really gotta dig in and actuate it. Same thing in the open position. The one plus side is that in the open position, this doesn't dig into your hand, which is good for use. With my Alpha Beast, it had a very square and sharp corners on the end, so it did make you kind of choke up on the handle and be more conscious of the latch. But on this one, you can hold it pretty much any way you want. So in terms of functionality and overall comfort, I would say that the Tachyon wins, but the fact that it's more difficult to actuate is a point against it. So more comfortable latch, but you won't be able to open it as quickly. Alright, the pivots. Another thing I think Microtech did very well. In my opinion, this is a bushing system done right. This has very little to almost no play. The blade is perfectly centered, and the handles do not rub either on the bite handle or the safe handle. The tolerances are just so that it's parallel. The washers are thick enough. The bushing is just thick enough. Everything is just right. In terms of a production knife, I really don't think you can get any better action in terms of a bushing system. I've told people on the forums that bushings are tough to do, and Microtech did it right. By the way, I'm not a Microtech fanboy. My experience with them is pretty limited. I've only handled like maybe a few. So, this is just a overall impression of what I have right in front of me. I have never dealt with their warranty service. I really can't comment on that. Other people can, but from what I can tell, Microtech makes good stuff. Ting pins. Another thing I think Microtech really put a lot of thought into. You'll notice that the exterior of the pin, the part that makes contact with the handles, is 1/8 in diameter, but the interior of the pin, the part that makes contact with the actual blade, is about 5/32. It's press fit, and the center is thicker. I have never seen any other company do that with their tang pins. I've only seen that on the Metal Mark and the Tachyon 2. So I'd say it's a fairly new feature. I'm not 100% sure on why they would do this, but if I were to guess, I would say that it's possible that having a thicker interior reduces the stress on the exterior. Meaning while the excuse me. Meaning while the pin is getting ugh, excuse me. Yeah, I am far from professional. Anyway, what was I back on? Oh yeah, it's tank pins. Yeah, basically the center absorbs the shock of the exterior. You have a 1/8 pin that bumps into the handle, and you have a 5/32 interior that kind of stays put and isn't affected so much. If it was the same thickness, it would probably be more prone to shock and more prone to loosening. So yeah, I explained that the same way twice or 3 times. It's been a rough weekend. Flipping. It's 4.8 ounces. I surprisingly liked it. The one thing I did not like definitely was the way that the tang it tapers into this semi-sharp point. It's not sharp enough to really cut you or dig into you, but you do feel it when you're doing twirling and scissoring. It's there. It doesn't really affect the move, but it's just there. It's just a subconscious something's biting into me. It's hard to explain. It's worth mentioning that this has triple aluminum barrel spacers. From what I understand, Microtech is intending on making full block spacers as a accessory. I guess the purpose for that is to offer the user a sense of variety, so that they could choose the weight that they wanted. For example, they could have full block spacers, so you have a good sense of weight on the ends, or you could quite possibly take 1 or 2 of these spacers out and have it lighter and have more of a 1-to-1 ratio to make it faster. So yeah, my initial thoughts on the Microtech Tachyon 2, I would have to say, if you like it, buy it. I really can't really complain about any of the flaws. It's like, it really doesn't seem to have any flaws or really anything that's negligible. I mean, you can always sand this part, and Microtech has said that they're gonna release block spacers, so there's not much else to complain about except the possibility of a more user-friendly latch. And when I mean something that's easier to access. But other than that, yeah, Microtech did good. They did good. So, that is my very, very, very informal thoughts on the Microtech Tachyon 2. By all means, if you want a more in-depth review on it, check out Calvination. You know, he's the guy. He's a lot more professional than I am. Thanks for looking. Take care.